We are your home theater and AV questions answered. This is AVRant. Want your home theater or AV question answered by Tom and Rob? Send it to question@avrant.com. Welcome to AVRant. I'm Tom Andry, and I'm here with
Rob H.
Gary. Infinite Gary. I'm not laughing at you, Gary. I'm laughing at the thing we were just doing. Infinite Gary is still agonizing over whether he should go for a different flat panel or a projection setup in his spare bedroom system. He was watching some comparison videos on YouTube between various HDR flat panels. Is there anything useful to be gained from this? Some parts looked odd and unexpected, like brighter HDR display appearing darker than the dimmer display, or the colors looking brown, blown out. Can we evaluate this way, or is it misleading? I'm sorry, are you asking me if you can watch on your non-4K display something that was not recorded in 4K of a 4K recording with HDR and properly evaluate it? Because that's not how it works, dude. You can't do that.
I know.
You cannot
the short
watch...
answer is no.
No. Okay.
To
this was an HDR comparison between two different things. I'm guessing. I didn't watch it because I don't have that.
Yeah, no. It was
And then
HDR
somebody
being
took
shown
a
on
video
one
of it,
TV.
probably with their phone, because why wouldn't they use that? And then did not have HDR or 4K, and now it's being shown on YouTube, which does not do 4K or HDR.
YouTube can, but
And you're watching it on display, which very well is probably a computer, which is not HDR or 4K. So, yeah, you can't evaluate this in any way, shape, or form. It is completely and totally. It's not just misleading. It's just invalid on every single level. I can't find a word that's strong enough.
no. I mean, you can see where someone is saying, "I'm watching two displays that were recorded with one device at the same time." Yeah. And I'm watching them both on one display. Yeah. So can I see the comparison? I mean, I'm not seeing exactly what was there, what I would have seen with my own two eyes, but can I compare what I'm looking at and draw any conclusions? But unfortunately, you can only draw false conclusions.
That's right, because the camera that was
helpful.
The camera that's being used, you're like, well, one looks blown out and one looks really dim, and it's supposed to be blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, the camera is not able to record, and it's trying
underexposing one, overexposing the other.
Exactly, by trying to figure out what it's seeing, which it cannot do. So
exceeds the camera's range. Yeah,
it's like trying to listen to somebody's sound system that they recorded on a phone, on YouTube,
which people also do on YouTube. They're like,
erroneously.
Can't you just record these speakers so that I can compare them to other videos of other speakers recordings, and then I can tell which speaker I like better? But I mean, people do that in earnest on YouTube, just like they try to make this video comparison. The one I like to say is somebody shot stereoscopic 3D with a regular camera, and you watch that on YouTube without any 3D glasses or anything, and you're like, but the picture looks blurry. Like, well, yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
to that camera.
So no, don't ever try to evaluate. I mean, this is a challenge, though, right? How do you market and show the superiority of your HDR TV?
Don't you remember when HD TV first came out? I talked about that on this podcast. They were showing commercials that were being shown on standard definition TVs.
That's right.
Of HD TVs, and people were like, "It looks really good." It looks really good, but it doesn't look that much better than my normal TV. Like, you're watching it on your normal TV. Of course it doesn't look that much different. It wasn't until you got DVD home for the first time that and this is on standard definition TVs too. Yeah. When you got DVDs home for the first time, you realized how bad VHS really was. Like, VHS was perfectly fine until you saw a DVD and you went, "Oh, that looks like it's 3D. It's coming out at me. It's amazing." And then HD came. It just goes from there. So, anyways, he already knows he loves his Stewart Studio Tech 130 screen. It has it in his dedicated theater. He could black out the spare bedroom setup, though he has no plans to repaint the light-covered walls and ceiling. He preferred to watch it in this room during the daytime with some light in the room. So it seems like the Studio Tech 130 would not be a good choice for that use case. But the vast majority of flat panels are glossy and edge lit. So he's already going to have a 55-inch OLED in his kitchen. I would like to live in his kitchen. He already has his dedicated theater for pitch black viewing, and he wants the room to be something different. So what would we go for? An ambient light rejecting screen plus a projector, or an edge-lit LCD flat panel? If he's watching with light in the room, will he not notice the halos or an even backlighting of an edge-lit LCD so much? Or will sports and TV shows still show these picture defects just as badly as a movie in a dark room? I gotta be honest, I don't understand why he has to not have a decent, like, it's one or the other, right? It's either got to be a projector with some sort of special screen, or it's got to be an edge lit LCD. Why can't it be a good LCD up here with good stuff? Because
there's not that many choices for full array local dimming. Because I mean, he doesn't want a gigantic size, which also makes the projector seem like a odd choice.
Totally overkill. Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you're not looking for a big size, then the projector is not your go-to.
I mean, this is Gary. He wants it all. He wants smooth, non-distracting, no reflections in the screen, but still wants good black levels and the good contrast. It's like, he wants
to be able to watch it.
He wants perfect
in partial daylight.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, I would go for it, because since, I mean, I get this, right? You're going to have 3 different setups, and he doesn't want them all to look identical. He's like, I want different setups to give me different experiences, right? So what you don't have right now is any display that can get super bright, right? Because your OLED that you already have, it can do HDR, but it tops out at 600, maybe a little over 600 nits, right? Your projector downstairs is not HDR at all. So what you don't have right now is a super bright TV that can go over 1,000 nits. You're wanting to watch this in a room that has light-colored walls, and you're going to have some ambient light. I'm like, I would go for that. I would go for the thing that you don't already have, right? So to me, that's a Samsung or a Sony flat panel. That's what I would go for. One of the ones that can do over 1,000 nits, and by all accounts, like the new X930E series from Sony, which can do both forms of HDR as well. It can do Dolby Vision as well. Like, by all accounts, it's really good. So I would give that a strong consideration. But that's what I would go for. I'd go for something that you don't already have, a unique experience for this new display.
But it's going to be glossy, so
I know. Can't have it all.
You just said he had to have it all.
Well,
and if he's going with it,
that's how he wants it all.
The edge-lit LCD is going to be, it's not going to be up to your standards, Gary. And it's going to be glossy, and it's going to be blotchy, and you're going to notice it. So you got to get something better than that. So he says, with a normal flat panel, even the very thin ones have some separation between the front of the display and the wall behind them. But LG's new wallpaper OLED is very nearly flush with the wall itself. Could that end up creating a halo of light on the front wall all around the wallpaper display? Because Gary says he'd find that annoying. So that could that be an unforeseen downside of this display, I'm guessing, because he's not actually thinking about this for this thing. No. I don't see why this would create a halo unless light starts bending around the outside of this thing. So I mean, it doesn't bend.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect. Yeah, because I mean, being an OLED, it does cast its light. Like, not only straightforward. It does cast its light pretty much 180 degrees. But it's still, it's still 4 millimeters thick. It's
still got
it isn't
bezel
behind the wall.
Yeah.
I don't think this would happen.
I don't think this would happen.
No.
Want your question answered? Send it to question@avrant.com. This is AVRant.
Now go out and listen to something.